All right, hello once again. This is Jeff Scott of Rankin Technical College, and as part of the Rankin Technical College AWD 1000 Web Development Technologies course, I have been creating a series of video presentations based on the Mozilla Developer Network Learning Web Development series. And I've gone through and done all of the getting started with the web and all of the HTML, and I'm in the third of 4 modules in here for the CSS. So I'm in styling text and I'm up to styling links. Afterwards, I'll have web fonts and then the assessment. So for links, as it says, it's important to understand how to make use of pseudo classes to style link states. We've talked about these a little bit before. All right, but let's just talk about them again. So here are your link states. All right, you can see there are 5 of them. The first is link, and that's, as it says, it's a link which has a destination. So basically, I look at that as being a link that hasn't been clicked yet. Visited is a link that you've already clicked. Hover is when you take your mouse pointer and you put it over a link. Focus, as it says, you've moved to it by hitting the keyboard or something else, or using an HTML focus event. And active is one that is being clicked on. So in other words, you're pushing down the mouse button on it, but you haven't let go yet. And I won't lie to you, I don't think I've used focus before, but of course I've used all of the other ones. All right. So it says here, the following example illustrates what a link will behave like by default. So let's grab this. We're going to remove what we had in there previously. Just replace it with that one line, and we'll remove all of the CSS. And again, we will just replace it with these few lines. And it says paragraphs should be 2 rem and they should be center aligned. So it should look like that when we get done. All right, because the entire thing is inside of the A tag. Let's see if indeed that's correct. And there it is. Now it's not going anywhere. And notice if I take my mouse and click on it and let go, but when I'm clicking on it, it's red. All right. Same exact way that it is here. All right. All the examples in this page are fake links. So when you put a hashtag over there as far as where you want it to go, it doesn't go anywhere. It stays right where it was. It says you'll notice a few things as you explore the default styles. Links are underlined by default. Unvisited links are blue. Visited links are purple. We've talked about this already. Hovering over a link changes the pointer from a pointer to a finger or a little hand. Focused links have an outline around them. Active links are red. I already showed you most of those. It says these default styles are nearly the same as they were back in the early days of browsers, back in the mid to late 90s. And that's because it's become a standard. That's what people expect, as they say. It says you should at least use underlining for links, but not for other things. Now, if you don't want to use underlining, you don't have to. But the only thing it really should be used for is links, and that's what the author is saying there. Make them react in some way when you hover over them, focus them, etc. The default styles can be turned off or changed using the properties that you see right there. So we're about to do some styling, in other words. All right. So color for the text color, cursor for the pointer type. As it says, you shouldn't turn this off unless you've got a very good reason, and there really probably isn't one. Outline for text outline, again, similar to a border. All right, so let's come in here. It says, let's take a look. So it says we'll write out our empty rule sets. So let's put all those in there. And we will remove this, change it to those. The order is important because the link styles build upon one another. For example, the styles in the first rule will apply to all subsequent ones, and when the link is activated, it is also usually being hovered over. If you put these in the wrong order and you're changing the same properties in each rule set, they won't work as you expect. Now, this is what they give you to remember. It's a mnemonic. I'm relearning or trying to relearn playing guitar right now. And one of the things that I've learned in there is for the 6 notes, Eddie 8 dynamite, goodbye Eddie. In other words, the strings from lowest to highest are E, A, D, G, B, E. All right. In much the same way, they think they're saying love, fears, hate. And if you use the L and the V, that's link and visited. Fears is the focus. And from hate, it's the hover and the active. All right. So it says, let's add some more information here. All right, let's come in and add this. So we've got a bunch of this. We got the blank thing that's out there, but I'm just going to replace it with this. In other words, I'm going to get rid of this and replace it with this. So what do we have here? All right, our body should be 300 pixels wide and centered. The font size should be 1.2 rem. The font family should be a simple sans serif. Paragraph should have a line height of 1.4. Anchor tags should not have an outline, should not be underlined, and should have some padding associated with them. Things we have not clicked on yet should have this color. Things we have clicked on should have this color. If we tab to something, it should have a bottom border and be this color. If we hover over it, it should be this color. And active links, so if we're holding down on it, should have this color. All right, so that's what it wants us to do. And let's see if indeed, in just a second, that's what we're going to have. So this is our HTML content. So we're replacing that paragraph with this. So we've got a paragraph that says what? There are several different browsers available, such as Mozilla. So in other words, the Mozilla Firefox will have one link. The Google Chrome will have one link. And the Microsoft Edge will have one link. Should make sense, right? So there they are. Now, when we highlight these, notice what we get here. When we take our mouse over it, it's got the underline and the outline as we talked about. If I hold down, you can see the color it changes to. When I let go, kind of hard to see with the way that these are set up. All right, if this has really changed a whole heck of a lot or not. So it says, what did we do here? It says it certainly looks different than the default styling, but still provides a familiar enough experience to know what's going on. The first 2 rules, it says, are not that interesting to the discussion. Well, those first 2 rules are just setting up the body size. So it's really these right here. Okay. The third rule uses the anchor selector to get rid of the default underline. You saw it was gone. It also adds a little bit of padding. Next, we use the link and the unvisited. All right, so the link again is something you haven't clicked on yet, and the visited means you have. The focus means typically you've tapped to it, and the hover means you put your mouse over it. Now notice the underline was created using a border bottom, not a text decoration. Some people prefer this because the former border bottom has better styling options than this does. Okay. The value has been set to 1 pixel solid and did not specify a color. So again, they want you to come in here and start playing around with these, and that's really, I think, what they want you to do. They want you to add your own stuff. So you can take a look at those if you want. But I'm just going to jump down to including icons on links. A common practice is to include icons on links to provide more of an indicator. Let's just talk about the one that you really see often, and that'll be something along the line of, all right, that'll be something along the line of a shopping cart. Sometimes it'll say shopping cart. Sometimes it'll have a picture of a shopping cart. Sometimes you'll see the text shopping cart along with a picture. All right, so let's grab this. All right, so that is going to end up being our body content. And then let's remove all of this. And between those style tags, what are we saying? Well, again, not big stuff here. No outline for our anchor tags, no underline, and some padding. We want them to be blue. When they're visited, purple. Those are both the defaults. When they get the focus, or when you're hovering over them, put a bottom border on there. When you're active, meaning you're clicking it, it's red. And let's see if indeed we end up going here. So it should look like this if we've set it all up correctly. There it is. Again, you'll see the underline. That's a border bottom. There's the red. All right, it's not going anywhere. It doesn't look like it, at least. All right. And again, what you end up doing or not doing on here is not, it's all a matter of personal taste. All right. I've seen some sites where people don't like to have, they've got a lot of hyperlinks and they like to change. Olive, stop it. Sorry, my dog is going a little nuts here. So when you do that, this is most of the stuff in the beginning, at least, is just setting stuff back to its defaults. All right. As it says, we played with the background. We set some padding. No biggies. Finally, styling links as buttons. Sometimes you want to do this. All right. It says you basically might want a hyperlink to just take on the effect of a button. So let's grab this and you'll see immediately how this changes. We're going to put it in with no CSS on, and then we will add the CSS afterward. So we've got an unordered list here. All right. In fact, let's do it like this. This is the way you're typically going to see it anyway. So all right. Notice none of them are going anywhere, and you can see what the highlighted word should be right now. But remember, as of this moment, there is no CSS, it's empty here, that we've added. So it's just 5 or 6 links. That's it. All right. Then when we come in here and we add the styling, margin 0, sans serif font, no padding, width of 100%, fine. Display should be inline. That'll be the first time we see this, because what should happen then is these should all be on the same line. Here's the stuff for our A, no outline, no underline. Again, display inline block, you'll typically see those together like this. The width, since was there 5 of them, I think? 19.5, so it takes up just about 100%. A right margin, which is 62.5%. Center aligned, align height, etc. So it should, if we did it correctly, should look like this. Well, let's look. So we're coming in now and adding the CSS up here. And by just adding that CSS, you can see that it has changed the look and feel from this to that. All right. Now, I'm thinking that the reason that that is off is I don't have a wide enough screen here. So let's change this so that where we put here 19.5, let's put 15.5. All right. And now it works. We could have centered this, but notice what's happening here. Notice all the stuff that's happening. First of all, you can see how it's laid out. Second, when we highlight one, you can see how it turns to an orange. Third, when we take our mouse and click on there, you can see how it again changes. Both the background color and the text color change. All right. That's pretty much it. So when we come back, we'll go into web fonts, which is the last one we have left until we get to our assessment. So be back shortly.